Hello friends, welcome to the video lecture series on artificial intelligence and machine learning. I am Dr. Dafda, and in this 30-second video class of AI/ML, we will learn about bidirectional search or BDS, which also is a type of uninformed or blind search technique in artificial intelligence, and we will also see its implementation in Python. So far we have understood BFS, UCS, DFS, DLS and IDDFS. And now we are studying our last uninformed search technique called bidirectional search. This method is very interesting because instead of searching only from one side, it searches from both the sides at the same time. Starting with the name, bi means two and directional means directions. Which two directions? One from the start node and other from the goal node. So the search that searches from two directions simultaneously is called the bidirectional search. Next question is, why do we even need bidirectional search? The answer is because it is much faster than normal BFS or DFS. Okay. So here, instead of searching one big area, we search two small areas, which saves a lot of time. Okay. So let us start. See, in any uninformed search technique or even informed search technique, we are given only two things. First is the initial state, where the problem starts, and second is the goal state where we want to reach. Now you may think that if for the bidirectional search we are searching from the goal node also and goal is known to us, then what are we searching for? Actually we are searching for an optimal path from the start node to the goal node, and this idea is common for all uninformed search techniques. The objective is always the same. We want a valid optimal path that connects the start and the goal. For example, here we want to reach from Erad to Bucharest, which is our goal. And here we want this final arrangement, which again is our goal. Okay. So we always know what our goal is. We are just searching how to reach that goal efficiently. Now coming to bidirectional search does not avoid searching. It still searches for a path just like other techniques. The difference is it searches in a smarter way. Instead of searching only from the start side, it searches from both the sides. One search starts from the start state or initial state and the other starts from the goal state. Both searches move towards each other and the search stops when they meet the common node. So bidirectional search reduces the work by splitting the search into two directions, and when both the searches meet, the path is found. And the final path is constructed by joining the two partial paths. Okay. Now let us understand how bidirectional search knows that it has found the solution, and also why BFS is used in the bidirectional search. See, in bidirectional search, we do not use a normal goal test. We run two searches at the same time. One search starts from the start node, which is known as the forward search, and the other search starts from the goal node, which is known as the backward search. Both the searches move level by level and keep list of their own frontier nodes. At every step, we check one important thing. Have both searches reached the same node? The moment a node appears, we say the solution is found. That node is the meeting point, and by joining both the paths, we get the full path from the start to the goal. Now why do we use BFS here? See, BFS is complete, so it will always find a solution if one exists. BFS is also optimal when each step has equal cost. So when we use BFS from both the sides, we are guaranteed to get the shortest path. See, DFS can also be used, but it is not safe. DFS may miss the shortest path, and in some cases it may not even finish. That is why bidirectional search is usually implemented using BFS on both the sides. Now let us step by step understand how this bidirectional search works. We are finding a path from start node, that is 1, to the goal node, that is 9. The forward search is shown in these blue fonts and the backward search is shown in these green fonts. We start with node 1 using BFS, and we know that this BFS follows the FIFO, that is first in first out rule. Okay. So in step 0, 1 is kept inside the queue from this end, and following first in first out, this one will come out from this end. So when 1 is expanded, its children, that is 2 and 3, are pushed inside the queue. Next, as 2 is first in, it will come out first and its children 4 will enter the queue. In next step, 3 will come out and child of 3 is node 4, which is already inside the queue, so nothing new is added. Next, 4 will come out and its child 5 will be pushed inside the queue. So it will give us the path 1, 2, 4 and 5 because we follow the parent's node. Okay, that is 5 came from 4, 4 came from 2 and 2 came from 1. That is 1, 2, 4 and 5. But at the same time, simultaneously, we search backward from node 9. So 9 is pushed inside the queue, and when 9 comes out of the queue, its children 7 and 8 are pushed inside the queue. When 7 will come out, its child 6 will be pushed inside the queue. Now as 8 is in front, 8 will come out first, but as we can see here, the child of 8 is also 6, so nothing new is added and 6 will remain in the queue. Next, when 6 comes out of the queue, its child 5 is pushed inside the queue. So by step 4 of backward path also, we reach node 5, giving the path 9, 7, 6 and 5 because we follow the parent nodes. That is 5 came from 6, 6 came from 7 and 7 came from 9. So the final path followed is written like 1, 2, 4 and 5. And 5 is present here also, but here we will write it in the back direction. That is from 5 to 6, 6 to 7 and 7 to 9 will give us the final path followed. Now the question comes in mind, why node 3 and node 8 are skipped? See, even though the algorithm visited nodes 3 and 8, they are not in the final path. This is because BFS always looks for the shortest connection. Since node 4 was already reached via node 2 and node 6 was already reached via node 7, nodes 3 and 8 became dead ends for the shortest path. And as both the searches meet at node 5, which is our intersection point, we join the two segments to get the final shortest path. And this is much faster because searching from both sides reduces the total number of nodes we need to explore. Okay. Now let us understand why this is faster than normal BFS. See, we know that branching factor small b means how many branches or children each node has, while depth of solution small d means how far the goal is or how deep the goal is from the start. In normal BFS, the search expands level by level from the start node. If the goal is at depth d, BFS may explore almost b raised to d nodes. So the time complexity for BFS is of the order of b raised to d. For bidirectional BFS, two BFS searches run together, one from the start and other from the goal. Each search goes only up to d by 2 depth, that is half of the depth, right? And they meet in the middle. So the time complexity becomes twice of b raised to d by 2. For example, if small b is equal to 10 and small d is equal to 6, then normal BFS explores about 1 million nodes, while bidirectional BFS only explores about 2000 nodes. Why? Because for BFS it is b raised to d, that is 10 raised to 6, which is approximately 10 lakh nodes, while for bidirectional BFS it is b raised to d by 2, that is 10 raised to 6 divided by 2, that is 10 raised to 3. So that is 1000, and 1000 into 2 is 2000 nodes. So this is a huge reduction in time, and this is why bidirectional BFS is much faster than normal BFS. Okay. Now let us talk about some practical points or limitations of bidirectional search. First, space complexity. Just like time, the space requirement is also order of b raised to d by 2. This means we have to store many nodes from both the directions. And because of this, the memory requirement becomes the biggest weakness of bidirectional search. Even though it is fast, it needs a lot of space to store both frontiers. Next important point is backward search. See, bidirectional search sounds simple, but backward search is not always easy. To search from the goal side, we must know the predecessors of a node. See, a predecessor means a state that can reach the current state. So if all actions are reversible, finding predecessors is easy. For example, in road maps or route finding problems, roads work in both directions. So bidirectional search works very well for graphs and route problems like this. But for abstract goals like n-queen problem, backward search is difficult. Here the goal is a condition, not a single state. Okay. So bidirectional search is not suitable here. So these limitations must be kept in mind while using bidirectional search. Okay. Now let us implement this example of bidirectional search in Python. Bidirectional search uses two BFS searches running in parallel, one from the start node and one from the goal node. Both searches expand level by level using FIFO queues. When the two searches meet at a common node, the algorithm stops. The final path is constructed by joining the forward and backward paths. This approach reduces time complexity from b raised to d to twice of b raised to d by 2, making it much faster than normal BFS. Okay, so that is all for this video class. You will find the link to download the PPTs and the Python codes from the description box. Thank you very much.